At least 6 American families are suing Character AI, its co founders, and Google over the role its chatbot allegedly played in encouraging their children to take their own lives. The parents of one of those teens, Juliana Peralta, spoke to CBS News' 60 Minutes.
Juliana is just an extraordinary human being. She was our baby, and everyone adored her and protected her.
Character AI declined an interview request. In a statement, a company spokesperson expressed condolences to the affected families. They added, quote, "We have always prioritized safety for all users." For more, let's bring in Ian Kreitzberg. He's an AI correspondent at Puck News. Ian, thanks for being here. You actually interviewed the new CEO of Character AI back in August. What did he have to say?
Now, before we get into that, let me just say, do you think that they should be able to sue, or do you think it's fine for them to sue, or do you think they should win is a better question. Do you think they should win the lawsuit for them suing because their child, who they were supposed to watch, who they were supposed to monitor what he was doing, ended up falling down a rabbit hole of AI, ended up taking his life? Now, we don't know exact situation, but let's get over into it.
About concerns over the potential dangers of the company's chatbot design.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be back. What he talked about was a kind of shift that character has undertaken over the past couple of years as each of these lawsuits has kind of come down away from the kind of general purpose open-ended chatbot experience, which you see still at places like OpenAI with ChatGPT and a whole list of others, and into more of an entertainment-focused interactive media space. And so, as each of these lawsuits has landed, Character has announced new safeguards and new approaches, and that they're working to separate teen users from over 18 users, so they can create more safeguards in these different model experiences. The latest iteration of that is, I guess, about a month ago, Character announced that people in the under 18 experience would no longer be allowed to engage in open-ended chats with their characters on Character. Um, the key thing is, if you look at these lawsuits that have come out, a lot of the safety measures break down over long time chat exposure. And a lot of what happens is that these vulnerable kids, and it's not just kids, but in this case, it's a lot of younger users, develop these impressions of what they're talking to, right? People have this tendency to anthropomorphize a chatbot. We've known about this for a very long time. And so Characters is trying now, in the wake of all this legal attention, to shift how its users, especially its under 18-year-old users, can engage with its chatbot.
But you
So
say
that
that
they
people
can't
have a
have that
tendency
interaction.
to treat these chatbots not like they're machines. I mean, these companies, they're trying to make them more human-like with the voices and the
Yeah,
inflections.
absolutely. It's been a really interesting thing to watch.
Now, here's a quick thing. Quick thing. We're gonna finish up this in a second. But if your kid is going through and, I guess, believing at some point that the chat he's talking to is actually real, which we'll talk about in the next video about this segment, uh, is that is that the company's fault? That's just like if a child believes in Spider-Man. This is my thinking. If a child believes in Spider-Man, truly believes, and his parents don't break down and tell him, no, this is not real, no one can actually do this, and he tries to go get himself bit by a Black Widow because it looks like the spider that turned Peter into a Spider-Man, could they sue Marvel over this? Or is it ultimately the parents who need to monitor what their children is looking at and what they truly believe? But let's keep going. Finish up this
Because we've
video.
known for decades that humans in general, not just kids, have this tendency to very easily attribute human-like qualities to non-human things, and in chatbots, even very basic chatbots. And for a long time, Character, like these other chatbots that are still out there, that's what it did. Now, Character still does that. Their latest push was to kind of get away from that, because they've seen, I guess, the results of that in all of these lawsuits, where yeah, this is a thing that happens. This is how people react to this thing, and in some cases, these are the results that we see.
Okay, Ian Kreisberg.
Now that's a crazy situation. So 6 families are suing. Now, this is the first time I actually heard about this was probably about a year ago when this happened. So let's get over into this next video.
This story just heartbreaking. The dark side of artificial intelligence is now at the center of a lawsuit just filed in a Florida federal court. A family is grieving after the tragic loss of a 14-year-old high school freshman. They say that young man, Sewell Setzer, took his own life back in February after an obsessive relationship with an AI chatbot. Now his mother has filed suit saying the inventors of the character AI chatbot should have known of the danger of this creation. Elizabeth Pran joins us now live with this troubling story. And Elizabeth, this is catching parents' attention everywhere because he fell in love with a Game of Thrones chatbot. That's obviously an extremely popular video game.
Very, very popular. Yeah, this story is horrific. Sewell's mom is on a mission, right? Working to prevent this from happening. In this suit, it's laid out that her 14-year-old son did fall in love with a chatbot that he created. Her name was Daenerys Targaryen. If you're familiar with Game of Thrones, she's arguably the
Where's the father? Where's the father? Did they not explain to him that she is not real? But let's keep going.
main character in the series, and that it became a romantic obsession and he took his own life. You look at some of the language laid out in the lawsuit, basically it claims that character AI really creates AIs that feel alive. It encourages minors, quote, to spend hours per day conversing with human-like AI-generated characters. And that's what happened to Sewell. He just turned 14. His mother said that his mental health started to decline. He quit basketball. He'd been playing since 5. He experienced sleep deprivation, became a recluse, only wanted to chat, and it turned romantic and sexual, and he fell in love with this chat bot. And in fact, if you look at their last messages, he said he wanted to come home to her, and she said, "Please do, sweet king." And that's when he took his own life. So character AI is responding. They said in part, over the past 6 months, we've continued investing significantly in our trust and safety process and internal team. We've also recently put into place a pop-up resource that is triggered when the user inputs certain phrases related to self-harm or suicide and directs the user to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Marquis, I logged in last night. I will say, I'm not necessarily tech savvy. It feels as if you're talking to a real person. You can talk immediately. They respond immediately, incredibly human-like. It is very engaging for someone who is just 13, 14 years old. It's uncanny.
Yeah,
Marquis?
hard for them to differentiate. And correction, I said video game off the top. I meant show, of course, for Game of Thrones. But regardless, I mean, just thinking of this family, 14 years old. Life is different for them for the rest of time. Elizabeth Pran, thank you.
Now, yes, it's a tragic situation. Tragic situation is that this 14-year-old took his life. So this was a year ago over the character AI. Now, but can you blame the company for it? That is the question. Is it the company's fault that the child fell in love with it? Now, should there be better safety? Because yes, there are impressionable children, and I can understand how a child would get mixed up because their brains are not they're not old enough to understand and stuff like that. Now, should there be some kind of age requirement for them to do kind of this stuff? Yes, I think so. Maybe they can install like some kind of ID checker. They have to check your ID, scan your ID, and you have to prove that you're actually old enough to where you won't be a danger to your own self. But like I'm saying, my thinking is the parent should be more engaged. You known that your child was engaging in this long chats with someone on the phone. Do you ever question who it was, if it was actually a real person? Because we talk about this all the time with pedophiles who will pretend to be in chat rooms with children. They pretend to be in chat rooms with children, pretending to be a young kid, ask them to meet, sneak away from their parents. We've been dealing with this not just with AI and them wanting to take their lives, but just child predators in general. At the end of the day, the parents need to be more in their kids' lives. That is the main thing that I'm getting from all of this. But at the end of the day, do you think that they will win the lawsuit? Do you think they'll come out with a win on the lawsuit? It's a tragic situation all around. But is it the company's fault? Is it the company's fault? Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world we live in now, y'all. It's a crazy world, but we got to keep reviewing it and we got to keep living in it. All right, everybody, remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.